Hey everybody, so today, Superman. Okay, so what's the subject for today? Or right now, rather. You know, I hear a lot of people talking about, the COVID situation and what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. The thing, whether you listen about that subject or any other subject, what's so important, maybe the most important thing to think about is who's the one telling the story? Who's the one expressing the facts, the opinions, right? Really, what is that person made of? So when I say things, the thing to realize is that, okay, it's coming from me, right? Now, I may repeat something that I've heard from somebody else, and I will say that, like I heard a medical doctor say this, or a government official, or anything like that. But when I'm expressing my own opinion, what you got to say, what is Yasha Yoti about? And what am I about? I'm about expressing the strongest parts of your nature as much as possible, about living a healthy life, a fit life, a sexual life, a spiritual life, all those things. But the thing is, to whatever degree that those things are your nature, okay? But I'm super about the fit and healthy life, okay? And I have been for a very long time. My entire life, I have barely drank at all. I've barely smoked weed at all. I really haven't done any hard drugs, okay? And so I've lived a very clean life in that way. So clearly, I care very much about my health. So when I talk about the virus thing, and what's happening as far as like the people who are acting really fearful or the shutdown still going on, right? And I'm saying, don't wear a fucking mask. It's ridiculous, okay? Unless you really, really feel I don't know. There's almost no circumstance now that makes sense except if you're a medical doctor and you're treating somebody who you know has it, okay? I'm gonna give you an example of how the government screws up on things that are obvious. So Memorial Day weekend, which we're at right now, they're saying now, the CDC is saying like, okay, well, everybody, I want you to go outside. Go ahead. It's okay to go outside your doors, like we're little children. And now they're actually recommending it because they're saying new studies are finding that it's actually pretty safe outdoors, that the likelihood of getting it outdoors is actually really small as opposed to being locked indoors. Like, this is just so fucking obvious, and I've been saying it from the beginning. And you got to ask yourself, these great scientists and everything else like that, they're like not even able to figure out that it's safer outdoors. They got people wearing masks outdoors or not wanting to go outdoors. Now, let me explain something to you. It is pure science that UV rays destroy viruses. They destroy bacteria too. This is used in all kinds of scientific experiments where they need to cleanse something, sterilize something. They will use UV rays, okay, in order to sanitize and cleanse things. So when you go outside and the UV rays are shooting down, the virus is destroyed. The virus is totally destroyed, and very, very quickly. It doesn't like the heat either. So always, I thought, very suspect that they would tell you to not go to the environment that is actually the safest. So only now they're starting to come around and say that. So, when these very, very simple concepts are not even expressed by the government or the scientists, that's a really good reason to question the validity of all the other things they say, when things that are really, really obvious are not a part of the suggestions. Okay, that would be like someone is not doing well, somebody is depressed, and you ask them, well, gee, have you been outside lately? And they go, well, no. Oh, well, maybe you should just meditate a little more. No, you need to go outside. You need to go outside. Okay, it can easily lead to depression, physical depression, if you don't get sunlight, you don't get outside, you're not active, okay? So these are really, really obvious things, the benefits of nature, of connecting, right? Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story now. A friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher, she's older, she's like over 65, and she happened to put out some information like, oh, this thing of now it's like people who believe in the masks and people who don't believe in the masks, that, this has like become a cultural war and all of that. And it shouldn't be like, this is a temporary thing, just wear your masks and it'll end up being all over. So then I would say to you, like, if you didn't know that person, Now I'm telling you, who's it coming from? It's coming from someone who is older. It's coming from someone who's over 65. So they are already in that group that is more susceptible to having a really malicious effect from being very sick. Okay? But I guarantee you, if she was 25 years old, she wouldn't be saying the same thing. Okay? So who is it coming from? If it's a healthy young person, less likely for that to be the view, because all of the feelings on the inside are about to go outside. Your own nature is saying, go out, express, connect, things like that, right? And like my suggestion from the beginning that has been working in Sweden is to say, if you are in the susceptible groups, you stay the fuck home, you be extra careful, but you don't, because you need to be extra careful, say that other people, have to, just for you, walk around with a mask. If I was 85 years old, I'm not going to ask everyone outside to wear the mask. I mean, I'd be a healthy 85-year-old, but I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to spend more time at home while this whole madness goes on, okay, or something like that, right? So for my friend to actually, say like, hey, in essence, to the freedom lovers, like just shut up, wear your mask and do this, that's absurd. That's really, really absurd. But the idea is, who is it coming from? It's coming from an older person who's going to be more worried, all right? And actually, it's not even looking at the science that people who are passing each other on the street, they even say this, that's not how it's being contracted. It's like, normally when you're hanging out in an enclosed space in a room with somebody for a prolonged period, not passing by on a bike. So this stuff of people still riding bikes or going on the beach and wearing a mask, this is, honestly, if you're doing that, you're a sheep. You're not actually thinking about anything, researching anything, or using just common sense, all right? So my advice is that as you're listening to anything that anybody says, ask yourself, who is this coming from? So like I'm saying, I have lived a life where, and continue to, where health and wellness and self-expression and being natural are at the paramount highest level of importance to me, okay? Obviously, I don't want to be sick. I get sick every once in a while. It happens. I was sick earlier this year. I could have had it and nobody knew or whatever it was. I'm totally fine now, okay? But I do everything conceivable in order to remain healthy, okay? So if I'm the one saying, don't wear a mask, it's ridiculous, okay? And we need to get everybody to do health-inducing things. Connecting with people, raise your immune system. Being out, being successful, being constructive in your life, all keeps your positive hormones higher and your immune system. When you are feeling depressed, disconnected, and not being constructive, okay, your body feels down. All right, so your immune system goes down. So that's bad for, all these mandates are bad for health in general. Okay, and so that's my feeling on that. Really pay attention to who is the person and what is the life behind the messages. So important, guys, so important.